Hi, y'all. Let's do some makeup. So, I have just been go, go, go recently, and I've been doing my makeup in the car quite a bit. So, I thought I might as well just show y'all what I've been using. So, first, I'm starting honestly with my kind of normal primer setup. I'm using the e.l.f. gripping primer. I just love it. You can squeeze it right onto your face, no problem at all. And just because I don't want to deal with having to wash my hands since I'm in the car, I'm going to use a brush. This is an e.l.f. dense face brush to rub that right in. And then I'm going to spray my face with the Revolution Sport Fix setting spray and let that all kind of dry down and get really nice and tacky. And I'm also going to use my e.l.f. lip oil to moisturize and prep the lips for later on. And once that is all good to go, soaked in, all that good stuff, I'm going to use my e.l.f. Halo Glow filter all over the face. This is just super easy, travel friendly. You just kind of use the applicator all over the face, no issue. Get that on there. And then I'm using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Foundation. I don't know why that is such a tongue twister for me, but it is. Again, you just pump it right onto the face, no big deal. And I just wet my beauty blender before I even left the house. And I'm just going to bounce that in all over the face and get that all blended out. For my concealer, I'm kind of using, again, one of my normal full coverage, foolproof, amazing concealer combos, which is the NYX Fix It Stick Peach Corrector and the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer. Both drugstore, both cruelty free. I mean, everything that I use on my channel is cruelty free, just in case you're wondering. And these give you just a flawless, beautiful, full coverage under eye. So smooth, not cakey. I also have dry skin, and none of these products dry me out or cling to any dry patches. And I really do go for a full coverage most of the time. So, of course, these are all going to be nice and full coverage. Just going to let that sit and marinate like I usually do, and then go in with the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer and start kind of bronzing up and sculpting out the face. I do like this bronzer, and I'm also going to use the Putty blush as well, just because I do like other cream products, and I do think that some of the other things I have might be even easier to use in the car, but I have had some of those products melt on me when I leave them in the car. Maybe the car gets a little bit hot. There goes your product. And I've never, ever had that problem with these Putty blushes. They are kind of more on the firm side as far as, what they are like in the pot. So no melting for them over here. And of course, they're gorgeous and they last forever. And I just love them. So I'm going to bronze up the face and then finally blend out my concealer. And then once that concealer is blended out, I'm going to use some blush. I'm using the e.l.f. Putty Blush in the shade Tahiti. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It's kind of that healed sunburn color, at least on my skin tone. It looks very, very natural. Of course, it's not going to be like a natural makeup look over here. Hello, we're going full coverage. I'm just explaining the tone of it. It kind of looks more like a natural tone. You guys know me. Sometimes I'm doing like a bright Barbie pink blush. Of course, that doesn't look as natural as, something that is a normal blush color. So I'm just going to top that off, get some blush on there, and then, of course, go in and set. This is the one kind of scandalous, scary thing that I do, but I just cannot skip baking the under eye. So I just really, really carefully with my Morphe translucent setting powder, I'm going to powder my under eye and bake it a little bit. I just have to go really slow and be really careful. This is basically my 20-minute glam with no eyeshadow, but it takes me probably twice as long in the car just because I have to be so careful with stuff like this. Maybe not twice as long, but it does take me a little bit longer than when I'm just sitting peacefully at my vanity, of course. I'm going to let that loose powder kind of marinate, and I'm just going to throw a little bit of bronzer and this kind of golden highlight from the Cali Contour palette onto the eye just to give them a little bit of shading, a little bit of something. I'm not doing a full eyeshadow look. I just want to make sure that they're not completely blank. Just on me personally, it can kind of make my eyes look really small if I have just concealer. I got to have a little bit of a shadow going on, so that is what I'm doing here. And of course, I brought my Cali Contour palette because it's just the easiest thing to travel with. These kind of multitasking palettes. I've been thinking about doing a video all about my favorite multitasking kind of all-in-one palettes. I saw Emily Noel do that recently and she didn't mention a bunch of the ones that I love. So it made me want to do it just to give like a moment to my little multitasking palettes that I love so much. And if you've followed me for a while, you know I almost have like a problem with buying these. Like I could have 20 full face multitasking palettes, and if a new one comes out from a company that I love, I'll still buy it. I just have an issue. So, yeah, if you want to see a whole video dedicated to that, let me know down below. I will totally do that for you guys. Once I have a little bit of color on the eyes, I'm going to go in with my Essence 16-Hour Powder Foundation and dust away that bake and just basically go on and set the rest of my face with this. And I basically set all of my cream steps with the same powder steps on top. It's the best way to get full coverage and longevity and have your makeup looking smooth and flawless. I know that there's a trend right now going on TikTok where people are like, hey, your makeup doesn't look the way that you want it to look because you're not wearing enough. And I could not agree more. I know it looks like a ton of steps, and I'll show you guys at the end up close that it doesn't look cakey. It doesn't look like a ton of makeup. I don't look like I have a pound of stuff on my face because I am actually going in with thin layers of each product. It just kind of really builds it up nicely to a full coverage that is smooth, that looks light on the face, and just really, again, natural really isn't the best descriptor because of course it's full coverage glam. But I'm just trying to say it doesn't look cakey. Like it doesn't look weird when my face moves, and it doesn't cling to my peach fuzz or anything like that. It doesn't look dry. It doesn't look wet. It just looks like a natural skin finish and pretty full coverage. So, of course, going in with that Cali Contour palette, I'm going to use the bronzer to set the bronzed areas and the blush. I also did a TikTok on this where I showed all my favorite cream and powder combos, and the putty bronzer and blush that I use in this video. Specifically with the shades that I use, I think I used Honey Dip in the bronzer and then Tahiti in the cream blush. Those are literally the exact color matches for the bronzer and blush in this Cali Contour palette, so they just go perfectly together. This Cali Contour palette definitely has one of those like halfway healed sunburn type of blushes. It's kind of the vibe of this whole palette, like vacation vibes. So I'm just going to bronze up with the bronzer in here and then go in with the more pearly highlight on the cheekbones, just because I'm not tan enough to use the more golden one on my face, at least not on the cheekbones. I do use a touch of that golden one on the forehead just because it blends a lot better with the bronzer. It kind of just makes my forehead look like I'm using a shimmery bronzer or something, which I just love. Of course, I have dry skin, so I like to add a little bit of glow to my face just so I don't look so flat. And then I'm going to top everything off with that blush. I absolutely adore the blush in this palette. It's so, so beautiful. And then, of course, I'm going to set my face with a setting spray. And I'm using the e.l.f. Micro Mist Setting Spray. I am in love with this stuff. e.l.f. just always, always hits it out of the park. They're incredible. I'm just going to finish off the eyes underneath with a little bit of that bronzer. I'm also using some of that brightening eye powder underneath just because like I said, I've been kind of go, go, go recently, which also means my under eye bags and dark circles are go, 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 and they are popping out like crazy. So I'm just going to add some of that brightening powder under there and then some bronzer along the lash line to give me some color. Again, it just makes my eyes look less flat and small if I put a little bit of bronzer, something to give me some color and some shadow. And then I'm going to, of course, do some mascara. I'm just going to use some Lash Princess mascara. And this is obviously the hardest part, to do the brows and the mascara in the car. This is also why it takes longer. You just got to be really careful and really slow. I'm using the Wet n Wild Fiber Brow Gel and the Angled Brow Pencil like I always do, and just being really, really careful and trying to get them looking good. My brows were looking a little bit sad today, but honestly, half the time when I'm sitting at my vanity completely still, they look kind of a mess because I'm not the best with my brows, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to get the brows on and some mascara. And then my favorite, super easy lip that I basically always have in my purse is the Milani. I think they're called the Ludicrous Lips. It's kind of a weird name, but they're these natural lip pencil, like a not too shiny, not too matte lip pencils, come in a lot of different colors, and they're the perfect size for just filling in the lips basically. Like it's not too big like a lipstick. You just kind of throw it on. It's a little bit bigger than a lip liner, and then I'm always going to top that with a lip oil or a gloss. Today I'm using the e.l.f. lip oil in the shade Rose. And that right there is the finished look. And that is just how you get glam in the car. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I have a ton of other videos right here on the screen and always linked down below, along with my other YouTube channel, my Instagram, and my TikTok if you want to follow me everywhere. And I'll see you guys in another video very soon. Bye.